Welcome to the Investors Trading Academy Economic Calendar of the Week. Each week, our news analysts review the upcoming economic events that you should be monitoring during the week. The week starts off with a US holiday, the official end of the summer vacation season. Traders will all be back in their offices with a roar on Tuesday to start off the last quarter of the year. Markets will be glued to the Federal Reserve meeting next week. Jobs data released on Friday gave no clear indication for a Federal Reserve decision. The rest of the week is relatively light in economic data terms. Sterling watchers and loonie followers will get rate decisions from the UK and Canada during the week, while China data will be particularly useful following the volatility of the past month and the reopening of the stock market there following the World War II commemorations. Equity news is light too, although house builders will be in focus. Having been hit by recent turmoil, investors will be hoping that fundamentals can shine through and justify current valuations. Also on the list is supermarket Morrisons, which will be hoping that an update on sales will allow the share price to stage a recovery. In the US, the key economic data isn't released until late in the week, and in China, key economic data is released on Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, covering trade, inflation and production, investment and retail sales. In China, the week kicks off on Tuesday when China releases its trade data. Economists expect that exports fell at a 5% annual rate in August, while imports are tipped to slide by 6%. Overall, the trade surplus is expected to have lifted from $43 billion to $51.1 billion in August. On Thursday, China's National Bureau of Statistics issues inflation data for August, both consumer and producer prices. Inflation is well contained at present, with producer prices still falling, not rising. Economists expect that producer prices fell 5.5% over the year to August, while consumer prices grew 1.9% over the period. On Sunday, the monthly batch of Chinese economic indicators are released: retail sales, production and investment. There are signs that Chinese economic activity is gaining pace, and investors would want to see further confirmation of that trend. Expect annual retail sales growth near 10.6%, with production near 6.3% and investment near 11.2%. The risk is that the results print on the weaker side of expectations, especially given that China closed down heavy manufacturers and restricted transport in Beijing during the World Athletic Championships. We would expect activity levels to lift in coming months. In the US, the week kicks off on Tuesday with consumer credit figures, the NFIB Small Business Index and Employment Trends Index. Economists expect that consumers continue to warm to low borrowing costs, with credit tipped to have expanded by $18 billion in July after a lift of $20.7 billion increase in June.